Welcome to your weekly Sidereal forecast for June 22nd through the 28th. My name is Athen. So we've got more of this whole lunar energy relating to your third house of communication, of speaking, of learning, of mental processing, rational information, siblings, peers. All these things are seen from the third house. So new beginnings there, because that's where we had the new moon last week. And now as the lunar cycle unfolds, the week ends with the gibbous phase. We'll have a full moon next week, so the energies will start to build as the week unfolds. Any new intentions you set around this third house continue to work on, and that's what the overall environment is. And very energetic new moon it is, because it's conjunct up to Mars, which is really emphasizing the directness and assertiveness with your communications, or writing or teaching or just learning, whatever it is that you're involved with. And so with that, continuing to put energy into it. Now, there's a shift though this week, and you probably noticed this last weekend when the sun went into your fourth, and now this week, the early part, Mars goes into your fourth. And so the shift is from the third house, which is still the whole week about communication, etc., but into more of the emotional side of things. I think you can be focused on home, family, past roots, or some of those, just depends on you personally, and very motivated by it as well, with Mars going into the fourth. So really putting in that short-term burst of energy into it can be very good now for the next a couple months with this energy shifting into the fourth. And that's where we want to work with the sun and Mars, because naturally these planets do like to be at the top of the chart. So here at the bottom, they're working on an area that we have to learn patience. We have to learn, taking it easy, cooling it down a little bit, because it's these are two very masculine, very strong planets. Cooling it down a little bit, but working with them emotionally, sentimentally, which I think for you Pisceans, I mean, it's just, it's a watery element. And anyways, it's a watery house, so it's very supportive for you in that sense. I think you're used to that. But I think putting energy into emotions, home, family, sentiments, things like that will be very good for the next couple months. And that's where you're going to have a new moon next month, starting some new beginnings around that. But things are still definitely about, learning, writing, etc. Mercury's still here. Learning also a lot perhaps about home and family as well, because Mercury does rule that fourth house, and about relationships. Mercury rules your seventh, so communication through relationships, etc. But there's definitely that shift, and so I'd really focus on the more emotional stuff while focusing on this, or putting energy into this whole lunar cycle of the third house. So that's the overall theme, as well as Jupiter, your ruler, trining up to Uranus, as he was last week. Now this week, continuing with that, going exact on Monday. So here, this whole liberation with self, with this whole south node in Uranus of your first house, especially past many years, but most recently since the eclipses of this year around March, April time period, this newfound sense of freedom and liberation that came from that. And now that's very much supporting your self-expression, your fun, your joy, your creativity, which is where you've had Jupiter for the past almost year. Venus recently went in here, helping you enjoy the fun, playful, creative side of life. And that there is creating, this even more freedom, right? It's more liberation and enjoyment. So it's this to and fro relationship. So this is also relating to your career and work. I mean, it's relating to you, which is all areas of your life, your self-image, your self-esteem, things like this. Definitely, freeing that up. But also work, career, which is Jupiter ruling the 10th, which has been going through perhaps some changes with Pluto transiting that 10th house for many years, transformations and changes in the career and work sector. But very supportive now this week with those matters. Lots of freeing energy, being yourself, all of this very liberating feeling with Uranus in the first and aspecting your ruler Jupiter. Now, Venus does naturally rule that communication side of things, so I think you're probably feeling quite optimistic about those things, or can be, and about transformation and change, since Venus does rule your 8th. But enjoying these things nonetheless. As the week unfolds, this conjunction will get closer to each other, and then they'll go exact Monday of next week. So that's the overall theme of the week. We do have some specific transits, though. Around Tuesday, we have Mercury squaring up to Neptune for the third and final time. This has been since this retrograde of this third house. Perhaps you've learned quite a bit about the communication and learning side of things with that Mercury retrograde there for the past few weeks, but also how to trust and let go and flow with the whole process, because he's now squared up to Neptune for 3 times. This is the 3rd and final time, which is final integration. About that, about, maybe speaking from, from the spiritual truth, speaking from compassion, from presence, things like this, which is natural for you Pisceans anyways. But this has been Neptune transiting your 12th house, but really just trusting and letting go and just going with the flow with those things. It's been very important. Also with home and family, Mercury ruling your 7th, and also flowing with relationships and trusting and having faith there, which is Mercury ruling that 7th house. So that's going to be important this early part of the week, specifically around Tuesday. Now, midweek Wednesday, that Chiron goes retrograde in that 12th house. So now for the next 6 months, along with this Neptune retrograde, you've been healing the, this whole spiritual stuff, behind the scenes activities, the things that, are about presence and compassion, alone time, things like this, your intuition, has been very healing. And so now it's an internal process. Reflecting on it, learning more about it will further that healing and flowing with it as well. So a shift there, and I think that shift can be quite healing, particularly around midweek Wednesday. So that's the week. Now on the weekend, the sun will be squaring up to the North Node. So here the energy is reminding you that this whole year is about relationships, and to put energy into that constructively over the weekend I think will be very important with the sun squaring up to the North Node here. But it's a very nice weekend in general, especially for you Pisceans, because Venus will be very close to Jupiter, which is a very nice conjunction in the 5th house. This is a house of fun, joy, self-expression, playfulness, or new entrepreneurship, new creative projects, whatever it is for you. But a great weekend for all those things. Then on Monday, perhaps some opportunities with that when Venus goes exact over Jupiter in their conjunction. So Pisces, I hope you guys have a nice week. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're new to Sidereal, do check the website or the description down below. I'm now offering birth chart readings if you'd like one of those on the website, masteringthezodiac.com. And have a nice week. Talk to y'all next time.